Hello, I'm Sam.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome to the Lehigh, Hanson, Heidelberg, Glen Falls, New York cement plant. Here at Lehigh, safety is our #1 priority. This video was designed to make you aware of any hazards you may encounter while visiting our site.
And to make sure you don't become a hazard to any of our employees.
This video is not only important to your safety, but it's also mandatory. Lehigh Cement is regulated by the Mine Safety and Health Administration. If you have any questions regarding any of the training we're about to cover, please contact your Lehigh representative. Upon your arrival here at Glens Falls, all visitors going down into the plant will need to report in at the engineering building. Be sure to check in with the executive assistant to log in and out.
Please input our control room info into your phone. Our phone number here is 518-792-1100. Report all injuries or property damage immediately, and those injuries or property damage must be reported before leaving the plant.
While working or visiting at this site, the minimum personal protective equipment you need to wear is at least a hard hat to protect the head, safety glasses to protect the eyes, and steel-toed boots to protect the feet. These boots must be at least 6 inches high. Remember, when wearing a hard hat, the brim must face forward. Other equipment to be used as needed are face shields when grinding, proper density glass for oxygen fuel burning or welding, splash-proof goggles, hearing protectors such as earplugs in noisy areas, respirators to protect the lungs in dusty atmospheres, and gloves for the hands. Long pants and shirts covering the tops of one's shoulders are required at all times. Continued contact with cement can cause chemical irritation or even burns, especially to the eyes or areas of the body that are wet or perspiring. Practice good personal hygiene at all times. We do require high visibility clothing. You must have reflective material on the front and back. Remember, all safety glasses must have approved side shields. While traveling through our facility, whether you're walking or driving, please pay close attention. Our facility operates large and small mobile mining equipment. Here are some guidelines you need to follow. Before operating any mobile equipment here at the mine site, you must receive task training. This task training must be documented, and a copy of that certificate kept here at the mine site for review by MSHA. In any case, never operate mobile equipment until you're authorized and trained to do so.
A parking brake must be used while any vehicle is left unattended. 2 wheel chocks must also be placed, one on the front, one on the rear of each wheel. You must also make sure those wheel chocks are of appropriate size. While conducting your mobile equipment pre-use exam, if equipment has one or more concerns in the red area of the form, the equipment must be taken out of service and tagged with the hazard. Equipment that has safety concerns in the black area of the form can be operated, but a notification needs to be put in so that these issues can be corrected in a timely manner.
While operating mobile equipment or riding in any vehicle, everyone must be in the cab in a proper seat with a seatbelt on. Never ride in the bed or on the tailgate of a truck. Never attempt to get on or off machinery while it's in motion. When equipment is being repaired, maintained, left unattended, or at the end of the shift, lower, block, or otherwise secure any raised portion of that equipment. Before putting mobile equipment into motion, you must sound an audible alarm to warn pedestrians and other equipment operators that you're about to move. After sounding that alarm, pause a few seconds to give equipment operators and pedestrians time to get out of the way. While driving on plant property, please maintain our posted speed limits. Changing weather conditions could dictate slower speeds. Electricity is a hazard no matter where you go. Here at Lehigh, you must be authorized and competent to work on anything electrical. Before attempting to perform maintenance on any system, it must be first de-energized, locked out, tagged out, and checked. Each employee working on a system must install their own lock. The key must be on their person, so no employee can attempt to start it without their knowledge. Anytime you're working near electric lines, ladders, equipment, and yourself, you must maintain at least 10 feet of clearance between you, your equipment, and the power lines. When in doubt, consider all electrical power lines to be energized. As a contractor, if you bring chemicals to our job site, you must make sure that their containers are properly labeled with at least the common name of the chemical.
Safety data sheets are located on our network. Please ask an employee for access. If you bring chemicals to our site, you must bring a copy of the safety data sheet and provide a copy to your contact person.
Now, before you start working at the plant, please find one of our emergency action boards and make reference to our emergency numbers and the emergency evacuation plans and where to report in case of an emergency. Please write these numbers down and keep them with you. Remember, any emergency, hazard, imminent danger, unusual condition, or incident should be reported immediately. Now, the first person arriving upon the scene of any accident should assist and give aid if necessary. Contact 911 if necessary. Post a guard, flag, or barricade the danger. Send someone for help. Use a two-way radio unit or telephone in the plant or quarry, whichever is closest or quickest.
For fire safety, fire extinguishers are located throughout the plant. Be familiar with the fire extinguisher that's located in your area. If you're going to be doing any hot work, make sure that fire extinguisher is readily available. If you're not sure on how to use the fire extinguisher, ask your trainer. As a contractor, you and your crew need to be familiar with the emergency response and disaster control plan. Sometimes events can happen that are beyond our control, such as tornadoes, lightning strikes, explosions, flash floods, even acts of terrorism. This plan gives you detailed guidelines on how to respond to each of these events. Please take the time to review this plan and be familiar with it.
Prior to working in any area, a work area examination must be conducted and documented. Any hazards found must be corrected before you begin work. A common accident at any plant are slip, trips, and falls. We can avoid this by simply using the handrails anytime we're climbing and descending stairs. Safe access must be provided and maintained to all work areas. This includes walkways. Make sure you don't leave tools and other debris lying in the walkways so someone can trip over. Any rags that contain grease, flammables, or combustibles must be disposed of in a covered metal container. Safe access not only has to be provided, it has to be maintained. This would include keeping your work areas free from tripping hazards. Don't let cords lying around. Pick up any debris or materials. Make sure your tools are put back in their proper place.
Never walk through piles of material. If you do find piles of material, please clear a path for travel.
Pre-shift inspections must be conducted on all machinery, tools, and equipment. These pre-shift inspections must be documented. During a pre-shift, you're looking for anything that affects safety. If there are defects that affect safety, you must correct them immediately, or you must place that equipment out of service with a tag on it specifying why that equipment is being placed out.
Earbuds are not to be used at any time that you are on our property. This does include the use of Bluetooth headsets. The use of a cell phone's camera or microphone to record confidential information is strictly prohibited. Cell phones can be used during breaks or while on lunch, if in the break room, and to make or take business calls if the person is stationary, away from mobile equipment, not operating equipment, and away from any hazards.
Here at this facility, we use a yellow caution tape and a red danger tape. The yellow tape denotes a potential hazard. The yellow tape should be tagged by the person or persons who put it up when the hazard is not immediately obvious. That tag shall include the supervisor's or the contractor's name, date, and the reason for the tape. Those individuals who do not need to be there should avoid that area. It may be crossed, but not until identifying the potential hazards. Yellow tape may be removed only when the potential hazard or hazards have been corrected. Now, the red tape denotes a known hazard. Unauthorized persons should not cross this tape. The red tape is to be tagged by the person who put it up. That tag must include the supervisor's or the contractor's name, date, and the reason for the tape. Red tape may only be crossed by an authorized person who's been instructed in all the known hazards and has the proper personal protective equipment. That red tape may only be removed after the hazard or the hazards have been corrected. Don't forget, when using the red and yellow tape, it must be at least 4 feet off the ground and it must be supported by a 1/4-inch rope. Here at Glens Falls, there are 2 work permits that you must fill out before you conduct work. One is a hot work permit. Before cutting, welding, grinding, using an open flame, these permits must be filled out properly. Also, anytime you're going to enter a confined space, a permit must be filled out and a plan in place. Special procedures are needed anytime you enter a permit-required confined space. A permit-required confined space is defined as a space that's large enough for the body to fully enter, it's not meant for continuous employee occupancy, it's difficult to get in and out of, and has a recognized hazard or a potential hazard. Before entering the space, a permit must be filled out and signed. Atmospheric testing must be completed in the permit-required confined space.
Now, when using ladders on our property, first select a ladder that's appropriate for the classification and type of work that you're going to do. Remember, no metal ladders on our property. When using a step ladder, make sure the spreaders are fully extended and in lock position. Make sure you don't step on the top area where it says do not step. Also, don't use a step ladder to gain access to another platform. When using extension ladders, make sure both feet are securely fastened to the bottom of the ladder. The bottom ladder is on firm level ground and anchored in. Slope it 4:1. Make sure you go with the manufacturer's recommendations as far as use. Don't overextend that ladder. Tie off the top of the ladder and then make sure the top of the ladder extends at least 3 feet past your upper landing.
Never stack material above or below your ladder. Somebody coming off this ladder could easily trip on it. While working from elevated areas, be sure to secure your tools and other equipment from falling onto other people. Also, the area below your work area must be barricaded off and signs posted to direct people to stay out of that area.
Anytime you're working at a height of 6 feet or more, or there's potential to fall into a hazardous area, you must be protected from falling with either a guardrail, a safety net, or a personal fall arrest system. Your personal fall arrest system must consist of a full body harness, a lanyard, and an adequate anchor point.
If you're going to use a JLG at our facility, you first must be task trained on the safe operation of that JLG. In any case, be familiar with the controls and make sure you use the fall protection anytime you're in the system.
If at any time you need to access a flatbed truck, you must be in an area where you can properly tie off. Be trained in the use of fall protection and use the fall protection that is provided. Failure to use fall protection when there's a risk of falling will result in your immediate dismissal from our property and you will not be permitted back. You must stay clear of suspended loads. Now, if you have to work with a suspended load, if you need a tag line, make sure the tag line is attached before the load is lifted. Make sure it's made of non-conductive material, long enough for the safety of your riggers, and never wrap a tag line around a body part. While in the kiln courtyard, if you are backing up a piece of equipment larger than our maintenance truck, a spotter is required. Contractor vehicles are allowed in the courtyard as long as your vehicle has your logo information displayed and your vehicle is kept to the side near the railroad tracks. Remember, no loaders are permitted in the courtyard during an outage.
A big hazard here at the plant are moving machine parts. Belt lines, gears, sprockets, chains, any of these things that move can kill you. We have guards to protect most of these parts. One of the things we do is sound an audible alarm anytime we're about to start up the plant. So if you hear that audible alarm in your area, watch out because that belt line's about to start. Our quarry is an active blasting zone. Before entering the quarry, you are required to contact a supervisor or his lead man to obtain access. The road for the primary crusher has a left-hand traffic pattern and is not open to the general public.
If you are permitted access to the quarry, stay away from high walls and other dangerous areas. Do not cross berms or barricaded areas. Remember, there will be large mobile equipment moving about the quarry. Make sure they see you and you are visible.
Prior to blasting, a siren will be sounded. Be sure not to enter back into the quarry until the all clear is given. Remember, with any blasting operation, there's always a chance for fly rock. Never attempt to watch a blast while it's going off.
And as a final note, no horseplay, no gambling, no firearms, no alcohol, and no drugs are permitted on our property.
Your failure to follow the rules and policies we've gone over could mean dismissal from our property. We want to thank you for your work here, and we hope you have a safe and productive workday.